Feel the body. Quite often when you lie down, if you watch people, they'll be lying down and seemingly relaxed, but you'll notice they're like this, as opposed to like this. What is important, I think, in relaxing is try this exercise, physically relaxing. Tighten every muscle in your body and then let go. That sensation that you feel is the sensation of relaxation. So you kind of set a baseline.
You specifically said physically relaxing. Is
Mm-hmm.
there a difference between one and the other?
Well, one is responsible for the other. What you're thinking about or what you may be entertaining is tightening the body. The thought that you're having, or the thought that you are kind of having, is tightening the body. So this precedes this.
Does this, in relaxing, work its way back up the chain? Or?
It can. It can. Because one pulls on the other. They both interact together. Basically, it starts here. But that doesn't necessarily have to be the case. It can start in here. And just let go. Just let go. And it takes practice. It's your technique. It's put your attention where you feel the tension and relax. That's process. That describes what we do in a moment or as a moment. Now, what we have to do as process is begin to identify, wait a minute, I'm not relaxing. How do I do that? That's what we have to do, and that's why it's a process. And that's why people treat the technique like taking a pill. Oh, I'll take a pill and it'll take care of everything. No, you have to do stuff. And that's just in terms of the technique. In terms of feeling that relaxation, you just have to recognize. You have to have your baseline, and then you recognize what that means. And then you'll see, at some point you'll see. See, the most important thing to understand is that, and I can't say this enough, and I've said it over and over again throughout the years, it's a study about you. It's not about anything else or anybody else. It's a study of the mechanisms, of the habitual mechanisms within the person. So that's what you are to do. When you're there and it appears that nothing is happening, something is happening. The automatic mechanism may be going off. You have 5 fingers, right? You have 5 senses. But you have 1 hand. All right? Once the energy from the 5 senses feeds into the reservoir you call the hand, it changes. Okay? You have smell, touch, sight, all whatever those things are. Once they feed into the reservoir of what you are, something happens. You begin to see things that you hadn't seen before. It may just become lights. You may hear a voice. All it is the energy now going in another direction. So that tells you right there, whoa, wait a minute, something is happening here. You see what I'm saying? So it's a recognition of the things that happen. Does that answer your question? Okay. Are there any other questions? You must remember, all of it is a recognition from you about yourself. Okay. Do not point any fingers away from yourself. None. It's about understanding you. And we have to have that priority. The priority has to be, wait a minute, I am studying me. I'm not studying the world. I'm not studying the person next to me or the earth itself. I'm studying me. A very difficult concept for people to understand is that the universe is in you. You're not separate from the universe. You perceive yourself as separate. All the laws that are anywhere are within you. All that is anywhere is within you. That is why you can leave no stone unturned when it comes to understanding who you are or what you are. There comes a point in this understanding of yourself that you will be so far removed from anything that goes on around you in terms of other people that you will have nothing to say. You just go, you'll look at them and you'll go, nothing. Never mind. Never mind. You are learning the truth. You are learning the truth. But if you never take that step to make you the priority, you never get that information. You never understand how it works. You want to understand gravity? Well, it affects you. It's within you. Everything in you is held together by that law. You want to understand what? The laws of motion? They're all in you. All you have to do is understand what's going on. The idea is that we assume that we know what's going on. We assume that we know, and the assumption is not always, well, I know what that is. The assumption shows itself as not paying attention. But you can't do that. I mean, you can, but there's a result. There's a negative result of that. It's about you. What you want to understand is, what am I doing? You know, if you want world peace, then you don't go around creating lack of world peace. You don't go around creating problems if you want world peace. And that means you don't create problems amongst you and the guy next to you. That means sometimes you shut up. You see that they're interested in creating a problem. Okay. Or they'll go blah, 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 and look at you and you go, I'm not in that. I'm not in it. You're interested in creating peace. But when you've got to explain and you've got to, well, no, this, that, and the other, and blah, 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 and now you got this thing going back and forward, that's called war, and it contributes to the attitude and the energy of world war. It contributes to that. See, you're not just inside of you. The thought process is the thought process of all people. It's like if you were a town and you all drink water from the same well, okay? The thought process is like that because the consciousness does not belong to your body. The consciousness belongs to the collective consciousness. And what you do and how you do it affects that. Your concern with the amount of discord in the world relates back to you. So you have to be focused in peace, no matter what. No matter how hurt you are, no matter how upset you are, you have to realize that being upset is in you. It has nothing to do with anything else except what you have learned, how you have learned to deal with those things that you can't have. And that's what it boils down to generally. I can't have this, therefore I get upset. I can't have your respect, I get upset. I can't have you to say, well, oh, you're right, I get upset. No. You see, it's all about, notice something in that in common, I. Then you have to deal with that I. This is what I want. Well, the other I is saying, I don't want that. I want this. So what is the alternative? If you are looking toward yourself, if you're looking to create peace and you're looking to create understanding, this I says, oh, okay, I shouldn't be with this person. I shouldn't be having this discussion with this person. Okay? Yes, Mark.
I'm aware of that, but that I am underneath who I thought I am has not recognized, or I have not allowed it to recognize itself.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, can the smaller, so to speak, ever recognize the larger?
The smaller cannot recognize the larger.
It can be a shock to realize that what you've always believed yourself to be doesn't really even exist.
Yes. That's the beauty. That's why I keep talking about learning to use the energy purely, because that very shock will cause that ego to disperse and everything becomes very quiet and very okay. See? So it's about, at that moment, it is the recognition and allowing that energy to be. What we want to do is identify. That's why I keep saying energy, 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 not identifying, oh, I'm hurt, or I'm this, or I'm that, or I'm the other, because that makes you stay where you are in the recognition of what you are. Because that is recognizing that energy as shock or as awe, as this or that, is lying. It can't identify it. It has chosen to identify it, but once you allow that energy to just, bam, just overwhelm the ego, now you see, there's nothing to do except be. Be here. And learn how to use the energy constructively. And learning how to use it constructively is also a tricky situation, because what you learn is there's nothing to do. Which is a very difficult thing to do, as Bruce Lee said, to do without doing. Okay. It is very tricky, because you're dealing with two separate and distinct things: mind or ego and self.
So, honestly, during the day, I'm aware of this, but it's difficult. I mean, I don't know how to put it any other way. It's difficult even in, okay, here I am again. The same thing is, the energy is coming up. I can feel the tension in my body. There's all this external stuff going on. I know I need to do something. I start to do it. I know at some point I lose my focus, and that's an issue. At some point, along the way, there's decisions in a way that need to be made. You need to put this in front of everything else, regardless of anything else. And that's
this meaning what?
The decision to allow the energy to move.
Okay. Yeah.
Regardless of how it makes you look. And it's going to take you into all those places you never wanted to go, because that's why you've created this barrier, I guess. So anyways, it's like it's an odd thing, because in a way there is something to do, and in another way there's absolutely nothing to do.
Yes. But see, the thing, you're at the point where a decision has to be made to trust what's happening, to trust that energy. See, that energy will take you to a whole other place of understanding. Once we accept that energy, what has to happen is you can't let these decisions overpower that. This is just a decision. You're giving this power. So that's what makes the conflict.
So when I look at it more specifically or in more detail in a daily event, you go to do an act as you've always done. If you're paying attention, you will start to see that tension show up.
Yes.
In those behaviors and in that act.
You have to let go.
If you let go, you can tie those back to some assumptions and decisions that were made when you were really young.
Yes.
But that's only the first. That's really only the first. That's only the first part. That really doesn't get you anywhere, other than now you see that it's there. But you still have to go through the process of letting that go under those conditions.
You haven't allowed it its full range.
Right.
That's what you have to do. You're doing what you should do until you get to a point where you say, "I'm not doing this anymore." Right. Okay. No. So you have to let it go where it goes. Now, here's the other part of it. I've also said to you in your process, you have to let it happen and not even move. Remember the technique of allowing up all the energy without moving? So no one knows what's going on. And any decision that you make is just a decision because you are not as concerned with what's going on out here. Right. And that's the whole thing. You do what you do, but I'm not concerned with what happens out here. Right. You know, we have NATO going on here. You know, the whole thing with NATO, let's go down here. You got people down there protesting NATO. Okay, cool. You got nurses protesting. You got guys down there talking about the woolly frog is disappearing, you know.
The woolly frog.
Yeah, the woolly frog is disappearing from the earth. Well, okay. What do you want me to do? Okay. Grab up a couple of them and mate them up and what, you know. All I'm saying to you is this understanding. The earth will right itself. That's what I know. So I'm not concerned with all the issues. You want me to be in this issue, you want me to be in this issue, you want me to be in this issue, you want me to be in this issue. I got an issue. It's called me that I have to straighten out. Okay, so the decision I make, I'm not trying to solve the world's problem. I'm not. I can only solve the world's problem by solving my problem and my consciousness adding to the collective on the side of peace and order. I can't change everybody. There's nothing I can do about that. Okay? What am I going to do? I can't change everyone. I can change no one. You're having a hard enough time changing you. So, what are you doing? Wasting time. You see what I'm saying? So, you have to allow what is happening in you to happen. It'll break you. That's what it's supposed to do. It breaks the ego. It breaks it. Now, that doesn't mean that you won't defend yourself or stuff like that. I will defend myself happily. Because I know where that part is in me that says, oh, you want to do this to me? You might, but you won't want to do it again. I'm going to make sure of that. I'm going to do something to you that makes you think, oh my God, this fool is nuts. Because that part of me that I call upon is nuts. See, it's got all these pieces floating around out here. Let me see, like, oh, he's attacking me, 911, internal cosmic 911. The internal cosmic police show up with clubs and tear gas and tanks and stuff to stop you. Okay, and then, everything all right, boss? Everything's all right. Going back where you were. You follow what I'm saying? You are the medium through which all these things pass. You understand what I'm saying? So, in order to see how big you are, you must see how big your pain is. You are always larger than your pain. So anything that hurts you deeply is providing you with the opportunity to see how large you truly are. But you have to allow that to be. You have to allow that to happen. Got it? Okay, Kevin?
You made a statement that the earth will right itself.
Mm-hmm.
That in that knowing is a certain kind of detachment that can be allowed to be there.
Yes.
Concerned about my house or getting an apartment, or I'm concerned, and we take the frog out and place all the daily concerns that that we say, that I say I know is either a distraction or enough to have an emotional seed in all of them, where you feel as though you're surrounded by these things you have to do, you have to make a decision, you have to.
Okay.
But does it work the same as saying the earth will right itself in terms of?
It is the same thing, because that is the nature of your being. See, you can do that. You can take care of all those things and see those things without being bent out of shape doing it. You see what I'm saying? The issue is not doing it or being involved with it. The issue is being bent out of shape because of it. You come to a point where you see, where that happens, it can't bend you out of shape. You can't have that worry. You look at it, you do what you need to do, and somehow it works out. As long as you just keep doing what you need to do, as long as you look at it clearly. You see what I'm saying? If you look at it clearly, you are creating something that you can't explain. It's just going to happen. But you must be clear about it.
And being clear, again,
it's just what it is. It's just a situation to be taken care of. Okay, so it's like if you deal with world-class athletes, for an average person to go out and do the kinds of things that they have to do daily, the average person doesn't want to do that, doesn't want to pay those prices. But the world-class athlete knows that's just the price you pay. That's just what you do. So you go out there and do it, and all of a sudden you're doing things at a level that other people don't do them at. So it's the same kind of thing. You just do what you need to do without all the drama and those kinds of things. So you got to remember, it's clarity is inside of oneself. Clarity is, see, when you know it's all a game, it's a game. When you know that, all right, you deal with it as such. You think boxing is a game, but it's serious, okay? So that's stuff you have to do to stop the other guy from doing certain things to you. But it's still a game. You follow? Okay. So the clarity of consciousness allows you to see it's still a game. You don't get all bent out of shape about it. Once you understand that life itself is nothing more than a game, you don't get all bent out of shape about it either. I mean, it doesn't mean you don't do the things you need to do. It just means that you're not, and willing to do anything. If you have integrity, there are certain things you don't do. You see what I'm saying? There are certain boundaries you don't step across, you know? You don't go around and, because the person has their back turned, stab them in the back. You know? I mean, you can. But that is what makes evil succeed in the world, because it's willing to go places that people of consciousness are not willing to go. But people of consciousness must be willing to open their eyes and see. And if you turn your back on evil, make sure that somebody else is facing it. Somebody on your team is facing it. That's all. You know, it's just seeing it for what it is. And without those attitudes, everything doesn't rise. You need that other side to bring you up, to make stuff happen for you, to make expansion happen for you. Pain you need. That's why when you come to a certain point, you don't give up. You relax and let the pain continue until it runs its course, because that takes you to another place. It makes you realize that certain things are not important. They may be important down here, but they're not important out here. Okay? So in your growth, that pain and those things have to expand you. And we have to be willing to allow that to happen. Okay? We have to be willing to allow it to happen. See, what's going to happen, it's going to, first of all, it's going to bring up all this other stuff. Well, they doing the... You're not trusting the energy. Because as I've said, when you open that gestalt, it's going to bring with it all these old habits. So what you have to do is just let that energy continue until it bursts through those old habits. And once it bursts through, you begin to feel really good. You begin to go, ooh, you're crazy. You begin to feel really good. That's what you have to do. You have to trust that it's going to come through these gestalts. And that means just relax and let it happen. If it kills you, it kills you. If you die, you die. Remember the old joke about the old man and the young girl? And the guy asked, the psychiatrist asked him, said, well, you know, death is an issue. And the old man says, if she dies, she dies. Okay? If it dies, it dies. You die. But you have to trust that that's not going to happen. You don't get involved in it one way or the other. You just let it expand and expand and expand until it becomes clear. That's the trust. Did you have a question? Okay. So that's the point that we're making here. There's a depth to which egoism goes. After that, it can go no further. But you have to allow the energy and everything. See, you have to allow everything that you've been taught, everything that you think you have learned, you have to let it be destroyed. Because what your nature really is, for lack of a better word, godly. Naturally, you don't want to do anything to hurt anybody. You don't want to rob, steal, rape, cripple, maim. You want to treat people fairly. That's a part of your nature. Part of what is natural in humanity. So once this other thing ruptures, you find that this is what is left. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I don't want to do anything to anyone. No, I don't want to cheat you. I don't want to do anything to you, but leave you alone. I want to leave you alone. See, and let you be who you are. But until you know who you are, you're going to come over here. And when you come over here, I got to deal with you. You see what I'm saying? I'm all for you living. I'm all for that. But if you bring me craziness, I got to say, hey, that's crazy. That has nothing to do with me. Nothing. Get away. Go away. Go be with the other crazies. Y'all form a crazy convention. Go do that, which I see you already have. It's called Taliban and all that, whatever all that is. I am at peace with all these things because there are all these things that I once knew I don't know anymore. I don't know anymore. And until you allow that to break down, hell is your state of life. Hell. There's no singularity in your life. Singularity meaning godlike. Division, doubt, double, devil-like. This, it's the doubt. It's the devil. There's no boogeyman, devil. No, it just means I can't get off of this spot because I'm over here, I'm over here, I'm over here, I'm over here, and I keep doing this, and that doesn't allow my energy to move forward in my life. It doesn't allow for that. My energy must move forward, ever forward, ever forward, to learn things about life that I never knew before. To learn things that I never knew before. You've been taught stuff, and you've been taught it well. And you give that stuff power. If people messed with you when you were a kid and you had to develop all these defenses and stuff, and you're walking around here, let's just say in this group, with this, you're in the wrong place. Because here is about let me find out what's going to happen here. Trusting this moment. Trust it. Trust it. Oh. You think you know a lot of things. You ask most people, you believe in God? Yep. Well, they don't really. They believe in Walt Disney. You know, the fairy tale kind of God stuff. What they're saying to you is, I'm afraid if I don't, something's going to happen to me. Well, it's already happened to you. To know what is true. To know what is true and to live with that truth. And to know that much of the things that we decide in this world is nothing more than a decision. It's choice. There is no right or wrong in it. Go on your journey. Go on your journey. You follow what I'm saying? Once you start to project that over here or over there or wherever, now you're trying to go on someone else's journey. You can't do that, and all you're going to create is war. What you're going to create is war. My journey is my journey. I don't care if it's your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, whomever. Go on your journey. Allow me my journey. Allow me to decide for myself. The same thing inside now. All those ideas, all those people who live in your head, who have taught you all this stuff, you've got to lay that aside and you go on your journey. Once that energy disrupts all this, what is left is you, what you really are.